Okay, this is LS589, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something very similar to what your H1, your homework one, you're supposed to do in your homework one, I'm sorry. And that's to survey the web technologies applications that you can find in your local library. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to use the Clarion website library page and see what web technologies we can find. First, let me define what we mean by web technologies. Of course, web technologies are digital technologies. Digital technologies that are implemented through the web. And by the web, we mean the World Wide Web. The information that runs through the internet, okay? So it's very important that we make the first distinction. There are digital technologies, but not all digital technologies are web technologies, okay? For example, if we go to a library and we find a DVD collection of movies, and they come in the DVDs, well, that's a digital collection, and these are digital sources. However, they are not web technologies. Why? Because they circulate in the container of the DVD. The same thing is true, for example, for video games. That you can go to the library. Many libraries have them available for circulation. You can go there and check them out. However, they are digital, but they are not web-based, or they are not web technologies. So I want to make sure that you understand that there is a distinction. Another example, for example, would be, would be and this, I've seen many libraries that you can check out a Kindle or a tablet with several or many ebooks. Well, that's a digital technology that it's part of the circulation process. However, it's not web-based because the user, in this case the library patron, cannot communicate through the web to either the library or to the ebook supplier. So when we visit our library and when we do H1, we can see that many libraries have digital collections that are not web applications, because web technology applications are technologies that are communicated. Let's say that in a general way, that are in which the information is transferred through the web. So web-based technologies are those technologies in which information is transferred one way or the other through the web. And the web, again, is a World Wide Web, which is the information channel in the internet, okay? So when we see the Clarion library, and of course we're gonna, in later lectures, we're going to go into more detail about these web-based technologies that we can find in the library. And later we'll go into Web 2.0, and then we'll do our last application. But here, the first thing that is a web technology, of course, is what we see in our monitor and what you're seeing. And this is the library website. This is a web technology. It's mostly HTML or XML, and of course, it's how the page or how the information is what we see in the monitor. It's rendered and it's programmed in HTML or XML, and this is how we interface with the library, how we see the information, how the information is displayed. Because when we use HTML and we learn to program HTML, and I know many of you already know how to do that, or XML, or any program that you use to display information in the web, what we are doing is we are formatting. We have the content and we are formatting how we want that information to be displayed. In the last section of this class, and that will be for the month of November, we'll be using Joomla, for example. And I already mentioned that, and that's a way to see the back end of programming. We won't have to learn programming, but we will be able to display and to format content in a website, in our own website that we're going to program using Joomla. Well, the same thing is here. We don't see the HTML, but that's the technology that is behind this web page. Okay, there is HTML, and there are more advanced forms of displaying text, displaying images, or displaying videos or music. So that's the first web technology that we can see when we look at a website. And this, of course, it's in regards to any website. Okay, now let's explore this. For example, here, if you see here, we have a banner, and it says join us on Facebook, which is a Web 2.0 technology, and it's also a digital, and it's a web application. And it is very important because, as we know, and we will see in future lectures, Web 2.0 technologies allow the user to also create, publish, and disseminate information. That's what it's so great about Web 2.0 tools. We before the internet were mostly information consumers. Of course, we the human being, and this is very important for all of us, we have always created information. But what it was really hard was to disseminate that information, because we couldn't reach many people, and also the information channels were closed. Either you, in order to appear on television or to write in a newspaper, you have to have a relationship with the industry. If you didn't, well, you could probably write a letter to the editor, and the editor of that newspaper or that network or that television channel or that radio station would decide if she or he was going to read your letter, for example. But it was very hard for the normal person to disseminate information. Now, with Web 2.0, it's very easy. You can have your own page. You can become a member of a forum of your interest. You can have your own blog. You can take your own pictures. You can post your own Twitters, etc. So now you can disseminate information through Web 2.0, and that's a web technology that is very important, and it's increasingly important from the to give a message to the rest of the world, and it's something that I recommend for any library to be using Web 2.0. So here we have this small banner of join us on Facebook, and if you click there and you go to the Facebook page, I'm sure you can also add content to that page in regards to the Clarion University Library, so the Rena Carlson Library. Okay, let's see what else we can do here. Okay, here we have a general search box where you can find articles, books, ebooks, DVDs, and more. And this is part of the. I think it's powered by EBSCO, and you can search what it's in the electronic databases, where you can find either citations, or you can find full text, and it search the electronic collections, and it's also search the catalog only. So you have here, you can click here and you can search the catalog only. What it means is you can search the OPAC, the Clarion University catalog, which means that the catalog, remember what is a catalog? The catalog in this case is an electronic catalog. It's a digital representation of the information items that are in the holdings. That's the definition of an OPAC. It's a digital representation of metadata, and that's a good word to use there, metadata, of the holdings of the information items that the library holds. Okay, the catalog is not the items themselves. And that's a distinction we have to make, because we are surfing, I guess, or we are going from the digital world to the physical world. Because the catalog in this case, of course, the catalogs 20 years ago and still in some places are a index card catalog. So that wouldn't be a digital representation. It's still a metadata representation, and it's still a representation, but it's a paper representation. So when you have a catalog card, an index catalog card of a book, for example, of a title of a monograph, or of an author, what you have is the representation, a printed representation. Well, in the case of electronic catalogs or OPAC, this is an OPAC because this is an online public access catalog, what we have is a digital representation of an information item. If that digital representation, it doesn't come in an index card catalog, usually it comes, it has many interfaces, but it comes also as marked records. And if you have taken LS502 and LS505, you already know what I'm talking about. So in this search box here, it looks like a universal search box. You can search by keyword, you can say by title, author. You can ask, you can limit your results by full text or peer review, and you can also limit by availability at Clarendon University and the catalog only. One thing too that now with electronic search and with electronic databases, you have the option in many times to either your results will be, for example, citations, complete citations and an abstract, or you can search and you can find full text, or you can find an ebook. Okay, and in my future or my next lectures, we're going to go into more detail about that. Of course, this is not an online searching class, but it's about web technologies, and these are web technologies. So sometimes, and this is very important, and I want you to think about this distinction. I said that the catalog is an online catalog is a digital representation made out of metadata of information items. Okay. However, what about when we search and we find an ebook that is in the catalog? Not in the catalog. It is in the resources that Clarendon University can access through EBSCO or Wilson, etc. Well, it's not a digital representation anymore, because maybe that resource has always been electronic. Okay, so that may be the resource itself. It's something to think about. Okay, I'm not giving you the definite answer, because there are many interpretations. Or let's say when you search, let's put it more simple, when you search in YouTube, YouTube is a web technology, and you search in YouTube and you see a video there that somebody posted. Well, actually, you're getting already the information item. The information item is a video posted in YouTube. So that's something to think about. There are other libraries, and I'm sure Clarendon does that too, where you can get to ebooks, or you can go to get movies. You can stream movies, or you can stream videos, or you can stream music. So that's something that may appear when you do your report in your library. In small public libraries, they don't stream music or stream movies, and I don't know why. But that's something that I'm sure will come up, or is coming already to be available. Just as you can check out an ebook, and you will have a certain amount of time where you can read the ebook, and it has many access according to the license agreement. Well, in the future or in the present, depending on the libraries, on the the library system, you may be able to stream a movie instead of going to the library and check out a DVD. Well, you do the same thing, but with a web technology application, and you can check out a movie and watch it in your home. Just like we do if you're familiar, for example, with a service such as Netflix. Netflix is a web technology that you pay a monthly fee and you can watch movies there. Well, the libraries could do the same with movies. And they could do the same with music too. You don't have to go there and check out a CD, a physical CD, which is a digital technology, but it's not a waste-based technology. So you go to the library and you check out a CD. Well, that's a digital technology, but it's not web-based because it's not the information is not being transferred through the web. Well, maybe I don't know of any library, but I'm sure there are. There are libraries that are already streaming digital content such as music and movies. Or you may be able to play video games from your remote location. And the library will hold a license in which patrons can log in and play video games from their computers. You don't have to go there and get the video game. So there are many things that are coming up or are already here again, and that I can think of, and many that I cannot think of, but will be coming. So we have so here we have social media, Web 2.0. We have here the universal search, and then we have research resources. And this being an academic library, of course, it's mostly academic information. We have databases, that's a web technology. We have an e-book collection, an electronic collection. And this is web-based because when you search the e-book collection, and we'll do that later, you are searching again, and you will be able to access not only the citation, but you will be able to access the content. And again, a book, and as you know now, you may write a book, and that book may be in a printed fashion, in a traditional printed fashion in paper, but you may write a book, for example, and you may market that book as electronic only. Okay? And as electronic, again, that does not mean that electronic or digital means that have to be a web technology, because you may offer that book in a DVD, for example. But if you can stream that book, if you can download that book from the library or from Amazon's, for example, then it's a web technology. You have Google search, you have journals and magazines, you have the online catalog. Here's the online catalog. You have the world catalog, and there are more information on and there are other resources too. Again, next lectures we will be exploring those web-based technologies. There is something here, library services, and we have Clarion Online, and we're going to see what that is. E-Reserve, Interlibrary Loan, that's also a web technology based and non-web technology based service, because when I have requested journal articles, I request them online, and I get them online too. But when I request online a book, sometimes I get the printed copy of the book by regular snail mail. Okay, so that's a mixed web-based technology that we are using there. Instruction services, they can be web-based because you can have instruction like I do with you, as this being an online class. So I'm doing instruction using videos or using YouTube or using online rooms. Well, that's a web-based technology too, right there. You can renew books, and if you can do that online, So that would be web-based. So there are many library services that are being offered in a web-based applications. This is very important too, and I don't know if it's working or not. We'll check that later too in the next lecture, because I don't want to do these lectures too long, because then people don't listen to them. It's a reference, so they have a web technology application and a reference. So you can have a reference librarian talking to you or chatting, and it's a very important technology to have. Okay. I also make, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but of course there always was a remote reference. But at the very beginning, it was a reference done by letters, and by sending letters by regular mail, and that's a remote reference. You could write a letter to your local library or to the city library, and they will answer that letter also with another letter giving you the answer. Then came the use of the telephone, and you could also do a reference interview by telephone, or you could have a reference question and talk to the library by telephone. Well, that's not a web technology, but now we have the e-reference, or you can chat live, it says there, or you can even have or you can communicate with a reference librarian through Skype, for example. That would be also a web-based technology. Or if you use a telephone line that it's web-based, such as what is called VoIP, Voice over the Internet Protocol, that also would count as a web technology. So these are some things that I want you to think about, how important the web technologies are for the libraries, public, academic, school libraries, special libraries, etc. Everything have changed, and it will keep changing too, because we are finding more and more uses of technology. Okay, let me see what else I can find here. Well, you can find lots of information in regards to library operations and other important information about staff members, etc., through the library website. So the first, again, and there are also tutorials here. So we have tutorials in PowerPoint, in PDF, and I think we also have a video format too. And we're going to see that in a future lecture, or in a future video. So please make sure that in your case you're going to visit the library. I did this remote visit, or this web-based visit to our library in Clarion, and I just looking at the main page, and not looking to and not clicking into the links. I was able to discover that we in Clarion have many web technology applications on libraries. In my next video, I'm going to go into detail over some of these applications. Okay, thank you.